Hi, it's Friday. It's May 7th. This is Day to Day with St. Joseph. I'm Father John Barry. In my look for the earthy Joseph, I decided to find out what is the female perspective of Joseph. Decided to ask and read of what women say about Joseph and their attraction to the saint and what the saint means to them and what he says to situations today regarding women. So I can't really speak for women, but I can listen and relay it. But still, the filter is still going to be a guy talking about women's opinions. So put up with that, because this is just my own program. I don't have any guests on. But you can maybe hear in the background today how I tried to open up to a different view. So, Joseph from the female perspective. Well, they say Joseph is the best of men. One of the view. They certainly see him as a male figure, and maybe a bit quiet on the first impression of this saint, but certainly a role model of fathers, a role model of husbands. So they see him as a father, as a husband. So that's not always the first thing I see Joseph as a man. I see him more as a man than a father first, or a husband. Relating to him as husband when you're a single man like myself, it's not the first way I go in thinking about Joseph. But some women say, well, it is for us. Women say there's an admiration for Joseph in the kind of man he is, and a real respect for him from the view of Mary to Joseph, the view of a woman to a man that she's betrothed to, that they say that's a nice relationship they have. And women think of relationship often first, and they think Joseph in his relationship to Mary was her great support, her great love, her great partner in faith. And that's how they see Joseph, with admiring eyes like that. They see him as a faithful man. They see him as a faithful husband, a faithful dad. So he's a faithful man. So I think too, in my own point of view as priest, I see him as a faithful man to the work of God. So I connect there. But if women say, but it's a time where there's a shortage of faithful men in whatever occupation or vocation, career, life that men are living. There's a shortage. Fidelity is not something that seems to come to men like it should. And I was like, okay, so that's your point of view, that you think about Joseph in the light of looking for where are the faithful men today. And so you're thinking Joseph is the kind of person they need to meet spiritually, mystically. They need to get a Joseph heart. That's what the women would say of who they see Joseph as the one that can help men become the men they're supposed to be, to become all they're meant to be. Joseph lived all that he was meant to be. And so they say, and we want that for all Christian men today. And so they think a year of Joseph could provide that opportunity if men would open up to that. So that picture there is the representation of the statue for the church that we're getting in this year of St. Joseph. So you'll see it next to the statue of Mary over on the tabernacle side of the church. It's made in Italy. It's all wooden and then painted. And then we're going to mount it on a pedestal. And then we'll have Joseph in our church, full size, for the first time. A real nice thing to do in our anniversary year, 40 years. So women say they long for Joseph kind of men today. They're looking for Josephs. In an era when women are too often, raising family by themselves, and it's a dadless home, just mom there and children. And they say Joseph is the ideal. He's living for his children, for his child, Jesus. He's living for his neighbors. He's living for his nation. And he's living for his wife. He's living for his God. So women today are in the home with kids, and there's a real problem with the missing dads, the missing fathers. Now, of course, sometimes there's a reason why the dads aren't there, and it just could be that the dads have to work a lot, maybe even 2 jobs, or a job that takes them away. Okay? Sometimes the dad leaves, or the woman leaves, because of infidelity. I think of a parish near here when I served, and one of the real heartbreaks was the mom leaving the home and leaving the dad. And I knew the dad to be an outstanding figure, one of the best men in the church. And I just didn't get it. I didn't get it. Of course, more often it happens that the man leaves the woman. And so sometimes there's a single person in the home, single dad or single mom. And just because somebody is not faithful. The women say that that too often, they though have to try to live the life of raising their children and raising their boys without that fatherly influence right there, not having it. So sometimes they call on their fathers or their brothers to step in, or somebody else that can step in. Sometimes it's the priest that steps in and tries to help. And women looking at Joseph, sometimes they see Joseph figures that might be able to help them. Faithful men that their children, they need to see that men can be faithful. And children can be loved by the man. So Joseph, he was there for his family, there till death. And we don't know exactly when that happens. It's kind of unfortunate that Mary will be left, as a widow, and then Jesus, as a fatherless adult child or young adult child, whenever it happens. So we could say unfortunate, but providential. It was in God's plan, and so it happens. So Jesus will be an only child or a young adult or adult without the father. Again, we don't know exactly when it happens. And Mary will be a newly single mom and a widow. And that really relates to so many people in that situation today. And again, that was the female perspective of Joseph and Jesus. And that at one time, the situation Jesus was in speaks to the situation that they are in today, or Mary is in. So in the women's view of St. Joseph, they say that sometimes we are borrowing from Joseph, though, because sometimes we're the women that are trying to supply what's missing, that the father isn't there. And so we're trying to supply, but we know that women can only do so much, but we try to do the dad thing, and sometimes we just do our best. But they appreciate the fact that they can be in a community, a faith community, and maybe some other men can be there, And some women talk about neighbors, and they talk about religious ed teachers, coaches, just figures, even a Catholic school teacher that means a lot to them. But they say that they really want men to be men. They say men should do what men should do, and women should do what women should do. And the crossover today is that fathers do a lot of things that mothers used to do, or mothers do things that fathers would do. But they say so much that it's meant to be a complementary relationship of a father and mother to child, and mother and father to child. And it's a complementary role. And they say that they like seeing that in the Holy Family. They talk about that women need men, strong men. So that's our view of St. Joseph is we need men, and not men with big egos, but we need strong men, and men who are listening to God. And they say women, men listening to us. And so all of that has an impact on me too as a priest, realizing, my own fatherly role, my father figure role, and also to support people who need that father figure out there. And parish ministry is a ministry to youth. In our next talk, we'll talk about a book that was written about the young boys and the dilemma that they're in today, and more things about women say of how we really need Joseph figures today in the church. This is Father Barry. I'll be with you again tomorrow for that on Saturday. Good day. St. Joseph, pray for us.